YouTube, I'm off to Maryhill. Yeah, it's a trade Tuesday, maybe? I don't know. Depends when I decide to put it out. So I found a PV Valve King amp. Yeah, so it's like what's it called? It's something 8, a Royal 8 maybe. I think it's got an 8-inch speaker. It's about 5 watts, I think, like an old tube wee combo thing. Couldn't actually find any good reviews or any good videos on it from on YouTube. I had a wee look last night, and it's one of those things that because it's like, I think maybe they're kind of around about the mid 2000s, about 2005 or something like that, they were kind of kicking about. Similar sort of time as the Fender Champ 600, which my pal Jerry's got one of, the one that nearly killed me. I really rated that wee amp, and also the Epiphone Valve Junior. I don't think you really get them the same way now. I think that was very much, there was about a 5-year stint when everyone was making wee 5-watt guitar combos, the idea being that you could get like an old tube amp, and because it's only 5 watts you can have it cranked up and get like the sound of a, you know, rather than having a 50-watt amp up at volume to get like the lovely tubey distortions and stuff like that, you can do this at a volume that doesn't kill you. I'm taking a bit of a, it's a really nice day today, so I'm going the cross country route. I looked it up on Google Maps how to get there. I can either go all the way through Bishopbriggs, which involves sitting at tons of sets of lights, or I can kind of go out into the countryside and then back in again to Maryhill. So I went the scenic route. Both of them said they were like the same amount of time, both routes in Google Maps, and one of them, this way, is like 2 or 3 miles longer, or 2 miles longer, so I figured I would rather be driving for that time rather than just sitting at lights, especially when it's pure posting. So I'm now just skirting around the outside of Kirky. There's a sign there for Kirky, and now I'm going into a place called Torrance. There's a guy I've fixed guitars for in Torrance as well. Sort of thing that's, you don't think it's really that far, but I'd imagine walking it, it probably is a distance. Yeah, so a wee mini Valve amp, and as I was saying there, I think it's funny when you go back, even like the big YouTubers, the technology's come along so much. I think I'm going to be doing a wee bit of an upgrade, like in camera and maybe editing as well. I'm nearly at 2,000 subs, and I've noticed that quite a lot of the big, like I'm putting out a video a day pretty much. I'm just doing it for fun, but I think I could probably actually make money if I'd made more professional looking videos, you know, spent a couple of days making a video. It doesn't sound so much fun. I wouldn't be able to be as off the cuff, so I'm kind of, I'll maybe talk about it on the live stream, see what everyone thinks. I'm not really sure exactly what to do about it, and I think a lot of people run away, you know, watch my videos for the first 10 seconds and go, oh, there's no editing, it's all, you know, and he's mumbling a bit and he hasn't mic'd everything up. So it's like, I still don't want to mic things up. The one video I could find was from a guy called the Tone King, who I have seen some of his videos before, but we're going back to 2000, I think it was 2008 or 2009 he did the video, and it really was, see, this is a big YouTuber, it was a much lower quality than what I'm pushing out just now. Just like things that the room was dead dark, and he had like a mic on himself and a mic on the amp, and it was kind of, you couldn't see him, you couldn't see the guitar, you couldn't really hear the amp, and I'm very much a case of, if you're going to close mic a wee amp, that's not really what it sounds like in the room. I remember having a very similar problem with the Blackstar Fly. It's like, what does a Blackstar Fly sound like? And every video I could find, someone had close mic'd it and then processed it, and it's like, that's not what the amp sounds like, that's what it sounds like if you were using it for recording. I'm talking about, well, for myself anyway, all of it, like 100% of the time, I'm basically sitting watching telly with a wee amp in the corner. I'm not miking it up and Pro Tooling it and stuff. So I'm just thinking along those lines, and maybe doing a wee bit of see the way Trogley kind of documents guitars. I mean, I haven't actually watched a Trogley video for ages. I do kind of like the guy. He's a bit smug, but that's only maybe I'm just jealous because he's got tons of money. So he's looking at guitars that cost, you know, 3 grand and 5 grand and stuff like that. And to be honest, even if I had the money, I'm not really interested in guitars that cost more than £1,000 really. I'm not saying it's not nice to have them, but I'm just a wee bit of the opinion, which is, I suppose, is unpopular and is never going to get me any sponsorship deals. It's like, I just don't really think you can get a guitar that's worth maybe like a couple of £1,000. Different, I think, if you're, you know, you're doing world tours, you know, and you're talking about going around the world, playing it every night, hard, for 2 hours, you know, maybe there's a distinct advantage to having like a really well built, expensive guitar, but I don't think very many people have that. Most people, even ones who I would class as being heavy giggers, are, well, not just now, going back 2018 or whatever, are heavy gigger is someone who gigs every week, one gig. You know, it's like, we're not talking about professional musicians here. Well, I suppose if you're getting paid, it's a professional musician. But compared to how many guitars cost that amount, I think there's again, there's a hell of a lot. There's a status symbol. Cows. So this is just going up to Bardowie. Hercules piling. That's the thing that would totally wipe out my joy of driving along and taking the scenic route if I get stuck behind the tractor, which is worse than having to go through all the traffic lights in Maryhill. I might even go, I don't know. Actually, I was thinking, because I'm in Maryhill, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken there, so I think maybe I get a KFC. Because I don't know how many months ago it was when I was out doing one of the videos, and it was like I bought a packet of Kentucky Fried Chicken flavoured crisps, and on the back of it, it had a voucher for, I think it was buy one meal get one free or something like that. So I ended up getting 2 KFC meals and pure nearly floored myself. It was absolutely awesome. But this time, so the other night I actually saw those crisps again. I thought, yes, totally going to buy the crisps. Were all right anyway. I think they were Zinger flavour. And then I was looking at it and they don't have the voucher on the back, and I was like, oh, because it worked out as a no-brainer when you're paying £1 for a packet of crisps, but you end up getting like a £5 meal for free without it, so I didn't bother buying them. Yeah. So I don't know what this wee amp's going to be like. You can see reviews of it, but it's amazing how when you just go back 10 years on the internet, how everything's much less. There was like a couple of, is it Music Radar, or, you know, sort of old-fashioned websites from before there was YouTubes, really, before it had really taken off and people could do it themselves. And it was like the main down point of it doesn't have an external speaker output. And it's like, of all the things I could do in an amp, I'm pretty sure I could fit an external speaker socket. Even if it goes to my pal, the guy, I like the guy, he's a guy Ollie at a place called Frettronics in Glasgow. He fixed my MIDI guitar when no one else could, and he fixed my wee Laney valve amp as well. He told me how to add an extension speaker socket to my Marshall bass amp, which I probably shouldn't advertise the fact, because I didn't give him any money or anything. I just basically said, hi, it's me, remember me, can I add a thing, mate? I don't want to, I don't want to put you out or anything like that. I think maybe you just got me in a good mood or something, so he was like, here you go, and he draw me a quick diagram in the back of a napkin sort of thing. So he's in my good books. I always recommend him if you ever need an amp repaired or anything digital done. I would go and see him. I'm sure his name's Ollie, maybe it isn't. So that is you're not going to see it. Maybe open the window to see it. Bardowie Lock on my left, which I think I might have actually talked about this before. So that's you can see the lock. So there's a wee sailing lock there, and this is when I was a young lad going up to my mum and dad's chalet, sitting in the back of my dad's car, and we'd always be looking down, and there was always an Avon Sea Rider sitting in the boatyard, like flat, or there was 2 actually sitting there, and I used to always see it because an Avon Sea Rider's the kind of boat I like. It's a 4-metre rib if you're into boats. And eventually one day I was like, you're right, it's been sitting there for 20 years, obviously got a puncture, so I went in and I was like, when the sailing club was on, I said, yeah, hello, just to the guy who was just like running the sailing club, lots of kids and stuff. I was like, I don't suppose you know who owns that wee boat there? I was like, it's just been sitting there for 20 years and I want it. The guy's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, I've got a number. I was like, I've got a number who I think might own it, and I'm sure if he doesn't, might be able to tell me. And so I ended up getting a phone number off him, and I seem to remember it being 17 phone calls later, I ended up getting on to the guy who owned the boat, and I got it for free. I went round and said, yeah, I forgot about that, and it was like, but it was 17 phone calls I sat for one afternoon to get there was a 4 metre rib, which I did actually use a couple of times. It was kind of meant to be a spare boat for mine. Sea Riders are good, but they're a bit robust, so they're very heavy. They're very heavy boat, very stable, good dive boats. I think they might even still make them in Wales. Avon, I think, gets sold to Zodiac, a French company, and instead of making the boats out of rubber, Hypalon, they made them out of plastic, and they made them much cheaper. But I think the workboat division still stayed in Wales. Dyfed, I don't know that's how you pronounce it. L-L-A-N-I, Cluny, something like that. It's where they used to make Avons, and I know that they kept making the workboat division because it was specified in the US Coastal Guard, or was it the Canadian Armed Services or something. They had a contract, and that was basically their contract was nothing. You know, it was we will only use Avon Sea Rider boats as a standard. So I think that's why they kept going. That was quite a. So I'm now. I'll show my age by saying I'm now just at Fiddler Clark's, which is now called, I can't even remember, it's a garden centre out here, which is, so over there's Mulgai and Bears Den and the Rangers training ground, and then this is me going into Maryhill, which is, I've got a P plate driver. I don't know if that's, no, he's just turned his indicator off, good. He's going to have a problem with this road. This road is not that brilliant. There's a bit where you get to a bridge here and it's dead thin, so I'd imagine he's going to panic. So I'll just give him plenty of space. This is where the dump is. The dump where I've actually managed to get quite a few things. I do miss it a little bit when I was working for my dad and I was going to the dump all the time, and it was like, obviously it's not fantastic fun take stuff to the dump, but it's having a wee sneaky look and seeing what other people were throwing out. I got a couple of PA speakers, I got my oscilloscope, I don't think I ever found a guitar. No, I did. I got a wee, in the one in Paisley, I got a wee nylon string acoustic. There was a guy taking it in the back of his car. He was just taking it, just about to fling it into the compactor thing. Next to me, there was like a guitar case. It was just somebody who was like, "Is that a guitar?" And he's like, "That guy's like, happy now, you want it?" Like, yay! I also got my stereo in there. So these people are happy because at least their wife told them to get rid of it. The stereo was an expensive one. He said the stereo I got, the guy said it cost him $2,000 and he was chucking it out. To be fair, I did have to fix the on switch because it didn't turn on anymore. I can't even remember, is that a Denon? Whatever it was. But oh boy, it's roasting. Here's this bridge with this. I was just going straight onto the bridge without worrying. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's alright. So this is the joys of going on the wee country road. You get stuck behind someone who can't really drive very well. I don't know if the P plates are it's like after you've passed your test, I think for the first year you're meant to put a green P in the back of your car, and I remember getting asked if I wanted to do that. I think it was optional when I passed my test, and I was like, what, let people know I've already started driving? I don't think so. So I didn't. I also got the option of sitting the theory test. Yes, do you want to sit the theory test? You don't have to. I was like, of course I'm not going to sit. I'm not doing something I don't have to do. I think it was maybe just a test thing. I think if I'd failed it, wouldn't have. I would have still got a driving license anyway. You know, it was like they were obviously just doing some sort of test thing. Yeah. So I'm rabbiting on, but sod it. I'm in a talkative mood. I got my first, what's it called, the Alka-Seltzer, the AstraVenicus jab yesterday from the vaccine against the dreaded virus, and I don't know, I felt a bit odd all day yesterday. It's dead easy to get it done. I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but in Scotland it's dead easy to get it done. You just look up drop-in centre, just went and did it. I was only there for 5 minutes. But I felt really strange last night when I was just sitting watching telly, and then this app came on. I think it was about midnight or something. So I emailed the guy and said, yep, I'll take this, I'll come and pick it up tomorrow whenever it suits. And then about an hour after that, about 1 in the morning, I went to the toilet, came back, and then lay down, get into bed, and suddenly was pure dying, totally shivering. It was pure roasting. There was pure shivering and roasting, sweating at the same time for a couple of hours, and last night was torture. I think it's my understanding of how vaccines work is it basically gives you a non-lethal version of the virus, sort of thing, or a light version of the virus, and the idea is that your immune system builds up a resistance to the lesser virus, and then if you do get the real virus, the big one, then you've already got the antibodies in you. I think that's how it works. So basically, if this is a really lesser version, I can imagine COVID being absolutely horrible, and I haven't had it before. I just remember at the start of the thing it was like, oh, you might have even had COVID and didn't know about it, and I probably shouldn't use the dreaded C word because it will get flagged up. But oh dear. Yeah, so I'm coming into Springburn, which is where Angus Young and Malcolm Young, I suppose the older brother, grew up. Well, I don't know what time it was they moved to Australia. I think they were like 5 or something like that. So they're from Springburn, and so is Donovan, 60s hippie dude, who actually me and my pal G nearly went to see, but at the King's Theatre in Glasgow, but he cancelled the gig, I think, because he didn't sell enough tickets. That was really annoying, because that would have been good. Donovan has some excellent summer, I hadn't had it for a while, because a Donovan Greatest Hits, which is just superb, a sort of psychedelic-y one, and all the people that play on his albums, he's got like Led Zeppelin on most of them, I think. John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, anyway, are like session musicians on Donovan stuff, and there's a song with a Jeff Beck group and folk like that. He was right into, he was in when the Beatles went to India, he was there with them, as was one of the Beach Boys, so it's kind of all these mad things. Oh really? That light was red for a good 3 or 4 seconds before that guy with the P plates on his car just decided to drive straight across it. So we're now coming up to Postle Park, which is not one of the nicest parts of Glasgow, if I'm totally honest. You see a couple of saltires flying, that's always encouraging. Even the not so nice parts look nice when it's sunny. It's like one of the few days it's sunny. Oh, the heat is absolutely killing me. Okay, so I've managed to talk for nearly 20 minutes without actually covering anything. I don't think this will be a Trade Tuesday video. And I don't think this might even be part of the amp demo. Or maybe I'll put a wee bit of this at the start. Maybe I'll put this on before I put the amp demo up and do like a wee unboxing type thing to see if it works for a wee couple of minutes, and then I'll probably be adding an external speaker socket and then do a proper review of it, and I can have the first proper review of the amp on YouTube. See what it sounds like. Valve King. I'm assuming it's going to be good. Might not be. Rocket. Hey, amp got. Lovely wee guy. So we sit I'm selling some guitars as well. You want to see them? And I was like, I suppose I've got to go and see them. He brought them down. He did a really, really nice Fender Telecaster thin line with Filtertron pickups. I was up here, alright, okay, how much? It's like £400, like thank God. If it had been less than that, maybe I bought it, even though I don't really need a Telecaster thin line. So I'm taking a little bit of a detour here just because, from memory, Jack and Victor from Still Games House is just along here. If I remember correctly, I got a Washburn guitar case just there. Someone was selling a Washburn case for free. I seem to remember giving him a big packet of tortilla chips just as a wee thank you. So I really can't remember where I am. I suppose if I find the canal, I know there's a basin, the bit where there's like a basin and there's a bit between them. So this is just because somebody was mentioning, I think it's Pontiac on the other live stream was saying, oh, what's Still Game? It's like kind of where I live. So it took me what, 20 minutes to get here or something like that. And that was going the The scenic route. Chapel Street Industrial Estate. Don't know. I've been to walk around about here. I don't recognise Frampton. Oh, this is I know we are too. We're not far away at all. The practice pad, or what used to be called the practice pad, the rehearsal studios, are just down on the right here. It's funny how when you come in at things from a slightly different angle, you just don't recognise them. I'm trying to think how I get to Jack and Victor's. It's got to be that. It's got to be that direction because that's where the canal is. Because it's kind of looking over the canal, so that'd be a wee bit of a detour. Not really in any rush. Now, the only thing that really looks wrong with that wee amp is the handle's missing for some reason. Luckily, I've never throw anything in, so any old guitars I've got. Do I want to go left here? I think I probably do actually. It's kind of going back where it was, but this is. I don't know if you want. Do you really want to call a pub the outhouse? It's outhouse, not a bog. Have I just done something stupid going up a one-way street? Just did something stupid and went up a one-way street. So it looks like I've kind of failed to find Jack and Victor's. I don't really want to ask somebody, where's Jack Victor's house? Because generally people here are maybe possibly a little bit grumpy, and yeah, the canal is definitely on the left here, so it can't be far away. Must be on the other side of the canal. There used to be a Greggs outlet here where basically all the pies and stuff you would buy in Greggs, the ones that were damaged, they would get sent back and end up in the Greggs here. Yeah. The thing is, it's really annoying about the Jack and Victor's thing is I've definitely been there on at least 3 or 4 occasions. I've driven past it, I just can't remember how it was I got there. Whoever that guy is on the phone, he'll definitely get a hold of him, 100%, man. Definitely. This wee guy doesn't know what amp he's got. The thing about these wee amps is they weren't expensive new, but I think we are now. I looked on Reverb, obviously. You know, you can buy anything for twice the price it should be in Reverb. So even if you took it at half price, I'm still doubling my money on it. Half the Reverb price. So that should be fine. Let's have a look and see where we're going. Right, so now we're in I know where we are, because this is us going down and under the canal. And on the right there is how you get Glasgow's West End. And this goes down under the canal. In fact, basically you can see the guy's house from who it was just at from right here. So I've basically just done a bit of a loop. Where would still gain flats be? Assuming it's not been knocked down. Last time I was there, well, the first time I was there, it was like on a wasteland, but then they built new houses, so I don't know whether they actually kept the block of flats. Now, if that's the canal there, it's got to be in this direction, doesn't it? Yeah. Right, the house I was just at was just right there, so it's got to be up there somewhere. It can't be up there because it's a park. Sod it. Take a wee route. I'm feeling so much better after that. I kind of ended up talking earlier on about. Also, there used to be, I don't know if anyone remembers, a game. I used to be a thing on Channel 4 called Vids, I think, where a Welsh guy and a tall Scottish guy used to do. I think it was video games and films and music videos, like one of your wee super budget things. And they used to walk. The guy's house was there, or in the show. The guy's house was just at the top of the street there. I don't know where I am here at all. Just going over the canal. There's some sort of new looking houses, kind of they're going for the sort of communist look. I think I'm on to Plums. I'm not recognising it. I know there used to be a shortcut torch. A guy when I was working as a removals man used to always take that kind of went past it, but I don't know where that was. Yeah, I'm on to plums here. I'll just go back round. Give up. There is a bit I do know that was in Stillgame. If anyone's seen, if you're watching all the episodes, there was one with Sylvester McCoy in it, who was Doctor Who. He was a really good Doctor Who. He was in Silver Nemesis, and what was the Dalek one he did? I can't remember. Did he have a Dalek one? Definitely did. He did in Survival. He did the last 2 seasons before it was off air for 10 years, so it was like really budget stripped. But he did have some great stuff. Great show in the Galaxy. I remember that one as well. I think I'm on to not finding still game flats. I'm just looking for a tall block of flats kicking about. I'm not seeing it. Definitely. Sylvester McCoy, if you watch it, there's an episode where he's a guy who just stays in his house for like since 1966. I seem to remember. I seem to remember he had a telly and had a bottle of whiskey in it, like smashed into the front of it, and he put it in. He threw that bottle of whiskey at the telly when England won the World Cup in 1966, and he was like a mad hermit living in this house. And I think eventually he got evicted, or I think that was what the story was about it. He also plays he's a wizard in The Hobbit, the one who's got bird poop all over his face. Somebody the Brown. And I always thought it was like, oh, Sylvester McCoy's got in it, and the reason Sylvester McCoy was in it was because Peter Jackson went, I want Sylvester McCoy for this part, because he was a Doctor Who fan. So that's how he was working. He got to fly to New Zealand and stuff. I don't know, he doesn't work very much. I've not really seen him in that many things. But the house that he was getting evicted from is about 200 yards up here, which I'll show you, and then I can cut away and I can open this window. The sweat is absolutely pouring off my face. I need to try to see if I can find him. To try and find a handle for the amp. It's really annoying when I'm trying to lift it. It's just that you just take these things for granted. There's an amp on top of a handle on top of the amp. I think Jack and Victor's is up on the right here. Victor's that them there? Should I go up anyway? I'll go up anyway, sod it. Just to see. But nice day. A bit of a drive. Yeah, so that's the houses there, where the one I was saying McCoy was getting evicted from. I think they knocked them down and put other houses up, but that was the exact location of them. No, not here. It's not them. No, I don't know where it is. I'm totally sure it's within half a mile as the crow flies from exactly here somewhere, but I don't know exactly. A wee bit of a detour anyway. People looking at me like, well, weirdos talking. Oh, people are on the phone all the time though. You know, hands-free phones. Mind you, if I was a bit cleverer, I would realise that it's got to be near the canal, so wherever the canal is, because the canal's obviously fixed, it doesn't move. Do I go straight on here? Just for a bit of a change of scenery. I've got the choice. That's the houses there that you get evicted from. And that used to be called Vogue Bingo and Caledonian Removal, so I worked for was just over behind that petrol station. Getting a nice wee tour, and there used to be an amazing. So we always said that the best takeaway places are the worst areas. There used to be Apostle Park just up on the right there, and they had a place. It was called Spice, Nice and Spicy, the Spice of Life, something like that. And we used to go there for lunch when I was working in a removals company, and oh my god, see the stuff you could get, and it was so cheap because it was lunchtime. So you were getting these big, what are they called, sarwamis or something like that. It's like a naan bread full of kebab meat, chicken and all that. It was only like £3. So you just sit there and you'd be pure struggling to eat like a third of it, and then it's like you'd force yourself to eat it all, and then you had to go and work in the afternoon. And all you really wanted to do was just sleep. I can go straight on here. Why not? going this way because I'm thinking about going to Kentucky Fried Chicken, but I'm too cheap. I don't want to spend like £6 or £7 on lunch. So I can't really afford it. You know, you're getting to the stage of your 2 or 3 lunches and I could buy myself a guitar. I was really a bit disappointed when the wee guy brought out that Telecaster because I thought, oh, he doesn't know what this is. I'll ask him for £400. It's like, yeah. So there's a difference. If I'm buying a guitar at £400, which is actually over my limit, it would have to be absolutely amazing. And to be fair, it was a really, really nice looking Fender. I'd imagine it's probably Mexican. For some reason, I want to say Carbonator or Carburetor. Called the Filtertron pickups. It's absolutely amazing. I just bought it because Oasis are my favourite bands, and I was like, it was a funny wee guy. I was like, oh, Oasis are my least favourite band in the entire universe of all time. It's like, you're alright, I'll put an extra tenner under the amp for you then. It's always good to have a good attitude. Okay, that'll do me. Oh. So I managed to resist the temptation of going to Kentucky Fried Chicken just for monetary value. Instead, I'm going to go to the big pound shop on the way home and buy some paint, undercoat, because I've got a couple of bucky casters that I would like to just get on to try and clear my piles of guitars a little bit. I've actually noticed I was looking last night, because I was feeling kind of weird last night, I was looking up stuff on Facebook Marketplace and eBay, and it was absolutely sod all on for sale just now. It really seems to be like goes week by week. Maybe it's just because the weather's really nice, there's very little on just now, apart from that amp. Yeah, I did make the mistake of putting the advert on at like midnight though. That was a Gumtree one as well. Try to use that Gumtree Messenger thing, which is just never easy. There's an old car. Anything about cars. Pretty sure that's not a modern one though. I need to go and get noodles at some point. I'll do that. I've got to go and see Rob at some point. I've got a guitar to drop off. I need to go and see Scott as well. He's asked me out of Saturdays. That might be why this is out on Saturday, now that I think about it. And next time I'll be sticking a mic in his face. It's like we were going to do, originally the plan was I was going to just do one big massive going through Scott's collection, and then after when I was doing the actual videos it was like, we realised we'd only done 2 and we're already 20 minutes in, so I kind of decided on the spot, right, I'm going to split it up. I managed to get like 4 weeks out of it or something like that, but I might, obviously doing it that way, I didn't actually have any chance to check, so I didn't go back. I've only been to this house once to do the videos, so I've been a few times, but that was the second attempt. The first attempt you couldn't hear anything at all, so hopefully next time I'll maybe do a wee tester video to see if it works, and then flip round. I wonder if I should, I'm thinking, I noticed my dipping tub for doing the hydro painting has got a big split in it, which has actually just got worse. I'm not sure it was that. I can get enough water into it now to actually insert a guitar, so I should probably go to B&Q and buy another one, but see what happens. The new plant-based whopper does not sound fun. I've vowed never to go to Burger King again. I went over, last time I was over at my pal David's, actually. I went to one in, where was it? Dumbarton, or not in Clydebank. I went to a Burger King and it was something like £6 for a Whopper, and it was rubbish. And I really decided that I'm never going to go back there ever again, unless I've got a voucher that you get 2 for the price of 1 or something. You know, I'll go to Burger King if there's no other option. You know, if I'm on holiday or something, I can't be bothered trying to find somewhere. But if it's somewhere close to home, not interested, right, just park at Poundland. I'm tempted to go and see if I can pick up a pair of really cheap shoes. Sports Direct. Rightio. I don't think that says disable that. Should be fine. So, pound shop. No spray paint at all. There's a Nike factory outlet there, and when I was in Shenzhen, Civic, a couple of years ago, it was a place called the Gulf Mall, which is not, I don't know, 10 minutes on a motorbike from where she lived. It's like a big, massive, really, really well-to-do place. Yeah, like kind of like a mall plus, really, really fancy, big mad fountains and stuff like that. And then she says, oh, let's go here. And then it's like, oh, it's a night shop. And honestly, it was identical to that one. It's like right down to, it was even the same layout. The only difference was that when it said like shoes, it said like Chinese writing, and then shoes below it, and all the people in it were Chinese. Apart from that, it was quite disconcerting actually, just how similar it was. And she never really understood why I didn't really like going to the mall. It's like, I wanted to go to, like, you know, mad wee crazy restaurants that are down wee side alleys and stuff like that, where you get like the real China. And but she was over here. We went to Buchanan Galleries, which is a mall in town in the centre of Glasgow. And as soon as we went in, she just went like that, pure, oh right, this is just like the mall. Yeah, because malls I think are just pretty much the same all over the world. It's just like, she wanted to see scabby little chip shops and stuff like that rather than generic super boring. I'd imagine like a Nike outlet store is identical in every country in the world. If it is in Shenzhen and Bishopbriggs, it's going to be identical absolutely everywhere. That's actually where I got the shoes I've got just now. Just buying out of date shoes. And actually ended up the ones I'm wearing just now. I bought them a few years ago. They didn't have my size, but because they were such a good buy, they were like, you know, Nike Air sort of 80s looking basketball boots. I want them, and I think I got a size 9.5, and I'm really a 10. So it took me like a good 6 months of forcing myself to try and wear them when I was walking places, to try and expand them to take my feet. But wow, it's look at that weather. That weather. It's like there's no clouds. There's the campsies. So my house is over. You can't see it because obviously the hedge has just come up. We're just about to come up to a place called the Stables, which is been there a few times in my boat actually. One time actually, me and my pal Michael, we're out in the wee boats, and because his house is actually on the canal, so it's like the place to go is, I don't know, about a mile pottering along, and I went into the Stables for a pint. So we're sitting at the side of the canal, and then my dad just sat down next to us on the table and started talking to us, and it was like he did it really well, because obviously we didn't even know he was anywhere. He just happened to be driving past and saw us. It's like a wee tiny village. It's just like great things. What was the thing that was on this morning? And it was like a question, like whoever it was that let their dog dirt all over blah 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 avenue, you're a disgrace to humanity. And it's just like, it's all wee silly things like that, and it's like, I quite enjoy it. Sort of village life, even though, you know, we're only sort of 15 minutes away from the centre of Glasgow, so you're not really out in the middle of nowhere, but just by being across a couple of fields, it really feels like you are. Wow, it's hot. I'm just out having this drive, trying to forget about the fact that I'm kind of suffering a little bit from this vaccine, but I'm actually feeling pretty good. That's Hastings Garage, which used to be the only 24-hour garage anywhere. Do I remember walking down to get vaccinated? No, but I remember people used to send taxis. This is before like supermarkets were 24 hours and stuff like that. That petrol station always was. So there's no spray paint. There is a pound shop in Kirky just up the road here, but I'm at the stage now I just want to go home, have something to eat. Since I decided not to get my Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's not really I could go to Galloni's and get chip. No, I'm not going to do that. trying to lose weight. Someone suggested that you should buy strawberries. Do you get strawberries? Oh, you only get strawberries in the winter, eh? And it's like, not in Scotland. In Scotland, obviously in China you only get strawberries in winter because it's cold enough to grow them. Whereas the only time it's hot enough to grow them here is in the middle of summer. One of our actual, I don't know if they're native fruits, but you can grow them here. You can't grow oranges or anything like that. Not on this side. Yeah, walking. Actually, the reason I decided not to get a KFC is because I've got my new favourite thing, which is corn dogs, which I remember many years ago on Xbox Live. I think this might have been before I had an actual computer. I remember joining my wee brother was mad into playing Xbox, and you could play Far Cry, and you could actually shoot real people. And I thought that, or you know, there was other, you were actually playing in a sort of team of 2 teams of 10 against each other, and you could shout to each other and talk. So I remember asking what a corn dog was, and they're all like, "Hey man, it's a corn dog." I was like, "Yeah, but what is a corn dog? We don't get them." "It's a corn dog." It's like, "No, like, yeah, but what is it? Is it like a hot dog?" "No, it's a corn dog." And no one would tell me what it was. I think they maybe thought it was just taking the piss, but it's like, genuinely didn't know what a corn dog is. Now I know. Lidl's got like an American month on or something like that, and I bought them, and it's basically kind of like a battered sausage. What we get is it's like a hot dog with sort of a crunchy battery stuff on it, and I've been cooking them up and sticking them on a kebab skewer and then just eating them, and they're awesome. I can already tell that I'm going to get sick of them though, because they come in boxes of 4. I ate 4 the other day, right? 2, and then ate another 2, and then last night in the middle of the night I had another 1, and I was already getting that sort of I've eaten too many corn dogs this month thing. So they're frozen, so, but I do quite fancy one for lunch when I get back home. I'll not be going to, not on the captain notice board. Was always there's always folk complaining about McDonald's as well, because it's obviously drive-through just now only with restrictions, so it occasionally backs up onto this road, which means you basically just end up stuck at the lights for 3 sets because somebody who wants to go to McDonald's just sits in the road, can't get into the car park. I'll just sit here and wait and make everyone else wait behind me. Yeah. So here we go, going into this is me disconnecting into the wilderness. Remember that time I walked to I mean, there was a big pile of dung, which is now a pile of grassy dung. To get there, coming into lovely Milton McCampsie. That is very pretty, I have to say. This is a bit of a floodplain in the winter. This floods, so you can't get isolated. Oh, and there's the app. It's missing. So we've got 2 inputs. Apparently it's a high gain and a low gain, and then I've got a gain, a tone, and a master volume, which is nice. It doesn't have a standby switch. Maybe Laney doesn't have a standby switch either. I was always under the impression that I think all it does is stop the noise of a pop. I don't think it can't damage the system, but every time I turn off my wee Laney, it goes. It's like, I think that's what the standby switch is for, but it doesn't have one. I don't know, I bet it's not that difficult to mod. I like the idea of being able to mod this, but I'm just terrified that I get electrocuted like I did in that wee Fender Champ. But to be fair, this is much bigger, so I don't think it's anything like it's all squished in. So it should be possibly, not that I've got any, I think maybe putting an external speaker socket on it is a good idea. I think the 2 options I've got are either to just break into the cable that goes to the speaker, you know, and put a socket on the back so you can actually plug the internal speaker on, but I'd quite like to be able to do like a disconnect one, so it's like the internal speaker's on until you put something into the socket which disconnects the internal speaker and gives you your speaker cabinet. And apparently it's 8 ohms, which is nice because that'll run nicely with my 3x12. So I'm interested to see if I can get away with that. Yep, so that was a wee journey out into the car, really. Just because it's a nice day, actually getting some sunlight for a change. I said if I was much cleverer, I would have actually gone for a walk. Actually, I did a video ages ago when I went for a walk and tried to restring. I was going to restring my resonator, still not done it, and I walked about, couldn't find anywhere quiet enough where people weren't watching. Rocking. So I'll catch you all later.